I'm Franklin Taggart. This is the Virtual Coffee Break. Join me in the break room. Hey there, everybody. Franklin Taggart here. It's time for Virtual Coffee Break. I've got my Bradbury to grab yours and let's chat for just a minute. I've been working on a new free course, and it is specifically for people who want to listen to podcasts, but they're not sure how to do it. It's not a long course. It's probably about 45 minutes worth of video, and it just goes into some different things that I wanted to just give an overview of here in this episode. If you're going to listen to podcasts, you got to have an app. And the app that I use is called Podcast Addict. As far as I know, I think it's only for Androids. If you've got an iPhone, Apple Podcasts seems to be the one that everybody loves and uses. You probably already have an app on your phone. If you have a smartphone, you probably already have an app that you can listen to podcasts on. I know that a lot of people use Spotify. Spotify does great hosting for podcasts. YouTube has podcasts now featured as its own channel. So if you are a YouTube user, you can access podcasts very easily on YouTube. So you just have to have an app that you're going to use to listen and download and all of that stuff. The second thing that you're going to have to be able to do is to find podcasts that you want to listen to. That's not always the easiest thing to do, but I depend on Google searches for that. And in the short course that I'm putting together, there are some more specific tips on how to search. But you can find pretty much any podcast topic that you want if you're more specific in your search terminology. And I'm also going to be introducing an app called Podchaser that allows you to search, subscribe, review, listen, all of the above to the podcasts of your choice. There are other apps like that allow you to do all those things. But finding podcasts to listen to, honestly, most of the podcasts that I started with are ones that were recommended by other people. So there were people that I knew, family members, friends, acquaintances, professional peers, colleagues, who all had suggestions, and that was where I started. And growing from there, you just kind of learn what you like, and the podcast apps tend to they have recommendations in the areas of topics that are there, so it's not hard to find. The thing that I will say is that podcasting doesn't have any kind of professional standards. So get ready for kind of a mixed bag of production quality and content quality. And there's a whole bunch out there that, it's just people that are just kind of messing around, having a good time and recording it and then putting it up. Nothing wrong with that. But if you don't, if you want to have a little bit higher quality of a podcast experience, one of the things that you might want to try is to stick to one of the podcast networks, or to go with some of the tried and true like NPR, and iHeartRadio has a podcast network now. And those tend to be really good quality in terms of their production. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I think one of the big challenges for people who are new to podcasting is finding the time and the space to listen. And I had several recommendations in the course, but I wanted to just give a little bit of an overview here. One of the things that I love about podcasting is that it fits into places in my life where other types of content don't. Like if I'm watching a video, I have to be sitting down watching that video, and it's really hard to concentrate on the video if I'm doing 10 other things. And if I'm reading a blog, again, my attention has to be 100% available for that reading to take place. One of the things that I love about podcasts is that they just kind of fit into all the different corners of my life. And so I listen to podcasts when I'm walking the dog, when I'm driving, when I'm getting ready for the day, when I'm doing my dishes, when I'm vacuuming the floor or mowing the lawn. Having a podcast on while I'm doing those tasks is a really great way for me to take in, the content that I want to hear. And having podcasts as a way to do that while I'm doing other things is a real convenience. The other thing that I love about podcasts is that I finish more podcasts than I do any other medium. I finish podcasts where if I get into a blog post and I get the gist of it, sometimes I'll just move along to the next one, or I'll just stop reading altogether. And if I'm watching a video, very same thing. If I feel like that I've gotten the gist of it, I'll just move along to the next one. But with podcasting, I have a tendency to really listen to the whole thing from beginning to end and enjoy it that much. I can't remember the exact number, but I was just at Podcast Movement a couple of weeks ago, and one of the numbers that they put out there was that people have a tendency to listen to at least 80% of a podcast. Well, that just tells you that once the podcast is on, people have a tendency to finish them. So that's one of the things that I really love about podcasts as well, is that, I don't know, they're interesting enough to usually listen to the whole thing. The only other thing that I wanted to mention is reviewing, subscribing, and sharing. There's a little bit of some how-tos on how to do that on the course, but I wanted to also say that I appreciate when people take the time to leave reviews for this podcast. I put time into this. I put a lot of thought and energy and some craft, maybe not a lot, but some, into the podcast that I produce. And when people take the time to review it, it really means a lot to me, especially if they like it. And the other thing that I really love is when people share my podcast with others. It's exciting to know that something that I've done or said is seen as worth sharing. So if you are someone who listens to podcasts, the things that really help the host of the podcast the most are for you to subscribe, review, and share what you've been hearing. So the invitation is here. If you are interested in more information about listening to podcasts, there's a segment on how to build a playlist. There's a segment on, there's a more detailed segment on how to search for podcasts using Google and other search tools. And there's also an introduction to some of the top podcast apps that are available currently. That is all going to be on my website, franklintaggart.com. What I want you to do is to look for the little picture that says New Podcast Listeners Primer. And if you click on that, that'll take you right to the course, and you can sign in and get all the goodies. I have a couple of extras there. I've got a list of podcasts that I recommend, and I also have a list of podcasts that I have been a guest on that people can listen to just to get a flavor for it. So if you have any questions at all about this ever, just get in touch. There's a contact form on the bottom of every page of my blog, franklintaggart.com. And that's the easiest way to get in touch, and make sure that you ask a question, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Thanks, as always, for being a part of the coffee break with me, and I'll look forward to our next visit real soon. So I guess this means that the show is over. So we've reached the end of another virtual coffee break with Franklin Taggart. Thanks for listening. If you're feeling stuck in your business, your life, your marketing, whatever, schedule a Best Next Step call just to get moving again. Go to franklintaggart.com and look for the little picture that says Schedule Your Best Next Step Call here. I'll I'll see you soon.